In today's video, I'm going to answer the simple question, what is the best cap for your Walstad Method aquarium? But more importantly, I'm going to explain to you why it's the best cap to use. Because most of the advice online gets this completely backwards for some reason. Before we start talking about what is the actual best cap for a Walstad Method aquarium, we need to talk about what it actually does. Now obviously it holds the soil in place as a cap. That's its primary goal, that's the main reason why it's there. But the other reason why it's there is it's there to help the top layer of soil, the oxygenated layer of soil. That's where the bacteria live, and it's there to let oxygen in and fish waste that's broken down, and it releases plant food and CO2. And that zone, it only works if the cap lets through oxygen and fish waste into that important top layer of soil. So here's the key mechanism that nobody ever addresses. Fish waste and oxygen have to pass through the cap, and they have to get into that soil where the bacteria live, and then that bacteria will use the fish waste and the oxygen to break down to release plant food and CO2. That two-way exchange is the key to the entire Walstad method. If you get this wrong, your Walstad method tank will fail. So you may have heard of the term Cation Exchange Capacity, or CEC. And we hear about this all the time in the aquarium hobby, but no one really ever delves into what it actually means. Now, in simple terms, I don't want to start talking in complex terms because I want you to be able to follow the video. Imagine the soil as millions of tiny little negative magnets, and all the little positive magnets that break down from the fish waste into plant food, they lock to the negative soil, like the negative magnets in the soil, while the negative ones, they won't lock to the soil. So most of them just float away into the water as you're filling your tank up when you start your Walstad Method aquarium. These will just float up into the water, and these contain ammonia and phosphates. But when you first set your tank up, if you've got excess nutrients, if you've got these excess nutrients floating around in your water, and you've got excess light, the plants aren't uptaking these nutrients fast enough, and you're not water changing them out, that gives algae the chance to start growing in your tank. That's why it's important that we make sure we've got enough light, just enough light, and we're doing regular water changes to help maintain and keep them nutrient levels low. If the cap is too dense and it's too thick, it stops the oxygen getting down to where the bacteria are, and this causes what people describe as anaerobic conditions. It kills all the beneficial bacteria off in this zone, and then other bacteria which start producing, the anaerobic bacteria start producing, the likes of your hydrogen sulfide, stuff like that, they start growing there then. So we need to make sure that we're maintaining this highly oxygenated zone. Beneath that, it doesn't really matter. We do need like an anaerobic zone beneath for certain nutrients or certain magnets to form. Key to the Walstad method is this oxygenated zone of soil where the bacteria live, and they break things down, and they also stop anything negative coming up through it. So if you haven't got that cap between your cap, your oxygenated zone, and your anaerobic zone, all the anaerobic things, as they come up, they need to oxidize, what's called oxidize. They need to react to this oxygenated environment to stop things passing through that can cause problems in our tank. And no one talks about this, and this is the key to understanding the method. If you don't understand this, you start going onto comment section asking, why do my fish tanks smell like rotten eggs? This is the whole reason why. And this brings us to the biggest myth when it comes to capping our Walstad Method aquariums. A lot of people say you should use fine sand because it looks natural or it keeps things clean. And this is the problem. But in a Walstad Method aquarium, sand acts like a lid. It seals the soil off, and when it seals the soil off, it kills all the beneficial bacteria And that's when everything starts releasing nutrients that these anaerobic bacteria will use, and it just creates this event where we end up with hydrogen sulfide and our sand will go grey and black, and then we'll start getting what looks like cyanobacteria. It's like certain types of cyanobacteria, not the normal pest cyano that we get in our fish tanks. It's a different anaerobic type, and it comes up to the layer, to the top layer of the anaerobic zone. We can get like sulfide producing bacteria, and they literally move up into our sand cap and everything goes grey and black, and that's when we get the smell of rotten eggs. That's the hydrogen sulfide escaping through the sand. So what is the best cap for a Walstad Method aquarium? The best cap is literally a fine gravel or a coarse sand of about 2 to 4 or 2 to 5 millimeters in diameter. Different people say different things roughly, but they might say 2 to 4, 2 to 5, but that's roughly the particle size you're looking for. You're looking for 1 inch or about 2.5 centimeters of 2 to 4 or 2 to 5 mil irregular shapes and size caps, regular shape and size grain that builds up your 1 inch cap. This is an ideal size because it'll let the oxygen and the fish waste down to that layer of soil, the oxygenated soil, and it'll also release the plant food and the CO2 back out into the aquarium, which is vitally important to growing plants. That's the balance you need. The soil stays in place, nutrients are released upwards to where the plants are, while obviously the positive ones are locked where the plant roots are so they can uptake all the plant food they need. And importantly, the tank stays algae resistant. This helps you fight any potential algae breakouts while all this is working and the nutrients are all cycling. It makes the tank resilient, and then we can keep algae under control. So now you know what the best cap is for a Walstad Method aquarium, but more importantly, you understand why. So now you'll have more success in the future when you set up a Walstad Method aquarium. If you found this video helpful, please consider watching my video on what the best soil is and why. Thanks very much, guys. Take care and good luck with your tanks.